Because we've talked about moms using their placenta in a lot of different ways after giving birth. Some women have their placentas made into pills. Others will eat their placenta. We even shared a smoothie that some people were eating with their placentas. But now there's a new trend that moms are engaging in, and this has also raised some eyebrows. While some women opt for a natural labor and delivery using breathing techniques and birthing pools, a handful of others are taking the birthing process back to its roots, choosing a lotus-style birth, which is the practice of leaving a newborn's umbilical cord attached to the placenta until the cord naturally separates at the navel days later. Advocates of the lotus method not only believe in the non-traumatic importance of a natural birth for both mother and baby, but also that it ensures the newborn is receiving the full amount of highly nutritious blood that's in the cord. So is it just another hippie trend, or is there proof in the lotus?
Wow.
We actually have a mom on the line who did this lotus birth, and she's joining us now. Thank you for being with us. Out of curiosity, what made you decide to use this lotus birthing process?
Basically, I was really interested in going as natural as possible, much like our cousins with primates who don't chew off their cord in the wild. They do in captivity, but not in the wild. So this just made sense to me, this very instinctual choice to keep the placenta attached via the umbilical cord until it naturally fell away.
Now, Adele, you've had 2 children and done the lotus birth thing. Isn't that correct?
I have indeed, yes.
Yes, and there were no problems or complications with either one?
No, none at all.
How long does it typically take before the umbilical cord separates itself?
It's anything from 3 to 10 days, but for both of my births it was 6 days.
6 days.
Doesn't that get a little funky, though?
The smell is dealt with by just basically preparing a mixture of rock salt and flower petals, and you can, put essential oils and cinnamon, whatever spices you want, really, to cover up any potential smell. But the rock salt itself prevents the rotting, and it helps dry out the placenta, kind of much like curing meat, I guess.
There's no debating this is the natural way to go.
Yeah, so, I mean, death is natural, and in the beginning of time, about 50% of babies died in childbirth or their mothers died, and in Africa, there's still an extremely high maternal and neonatal mortality rate because it's, for all intents and purposes, natural there also, and we have to be very, very careful, and I always applaud the right of any mother to do what she thinks is best for herself and her baby. However, we have to understand that medical intervention, when done appropriately, sometimes can be life-saving. So I think we have to be very careful not to make massive generalizations here that natural is good and medical intervention is bad, because in reality, it's obviously somewhere in the middle. And I think this concept of not clamping the cord or leaving the placenta attached, the more common and popular one is not clamping the cord or delayed clamping of the cord. But, there's so much myth and folklore out there about it. The reality is, once that umbilical cord hits room temperature, it will spasm, what we call vasoconstrict, and stop pulsating very, very quickly. Right. There's no blood flow going through that, which is why when a cord prolapses out of the vagina, it's a life-threatening surgical emergency for the baby, because once that cord hits room air, it's going to spasm down. Now, that's very different than in the process of a delivery, a midwife or a doctor immediately going to clamp and cut that cord, because we can do that in 2 seconds, whereas if you leave it alone and let it naturally stop pulsating, that will take 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and in that period of time, it is correct, the baby can get more blood, but again, that's not always a good thing, because too much blood going to a neonate can be dangerous in and of itself. So I really want to emphasize here,
and one thing
go for the middle ground.
One thing you didn't talk about is the whole concept of leaving something attached to you that's dead. I mean, because really it's dead flesh. It's almost like leaving a gangrenous, necrotic finger on.
That's right.
Sometimes you have to amputate. So the whole idea that you have a neonate with this dead placenta
which just came out of the vagina, which is filled with bacteria, proceed with caution.
Salt and rose petals.
Well, yeah, but like you said, rightly so, Dr. Ashton, you support every woman's right to choose. Adele, in your situation, we're just happy that you had 2 very healthy babies, and we appreciate you sharing your story with us.